7 o'clock Eastern and in the middle. So we're going to get going. We have a whole bunch of questions and answers to go through today. This is probably our 6th or 7th or 8th Campfire chat. We've done it at international rallies. We've done them over Zoom. And I've done even some at club events as well. I really enjoy it. It's an opportunity not only for me and Lori to share what's going on in our club, but also for us to hear back from you. And so if you've been on one of these before, you'll know my mantra, and that's that feel free to ask any question. And you can use the chat the Q&A window to ask questions. Questions are not live. It's just complicated with 200 people online. So just ask them in the chat, the Q&A, and we will get to them. We get to almost all of them. And if we don't get to them, we have a record of who's on, and we can get back to you later. So let me first introduce our corporate manager, Lori Plummer. Little words about you, Lori, to introduce sort of the rest of your team that you normally sit with back there in Jackson Center.
Well, thanks, Eric. As Eric said, my name is Lori Plummer. I have been with the club since 2014, and I know I'm a little biased, but I think we got an amazing team back in Jackson Center that works very hard to make sure everybody can enjoy their membership. So along with us tonight, we have Christy Yanyan. She'll come on camera here. She is our communications and marketing manager. So Christy is the one who helps us put all our campaigns together, social media posts, and all that fun stuff. So she does an amazing job with that, as well as she also is a vital part of the rally planning team. We'll talk more about the rally here in a little bit. So along with Christy, we also have Amanda Hughes, which has recently been moved into the officer manager position. So Amanda does a lot of administrative operation type things, including the rally, caravan support, membership support, and operational type things. Along with Amanda, we also have Corey Maxwell, and Corey is our Blue Beret editor. So he is one who collaborates with our members and puts the Blue Beret together for print, as well as the blog and the bulletin too. He's the one behind all that. And then our membership team, which we all are membership team, but the two core ladies that does the majority of the work in regards to membership is Amber Regula, and then our newest team member, which is Justina Shanhan. And so those two ladies are normally your first points of contact when you contact HQ, and they will do whatever we can to get those issues resolved.
So Laura, speaking about contacting HQ, when our members want to contact HQ, either in person or online, how do you recommend that they do that?
Well, whatever you're comfortable with is the recommendation. So we have several avenues. Of course, if you're ever in the big old town of Jackson Center, now with 2 gas stations and 2 traffic lights, please stop at the office and see us. We're normally there during the week, 8 to 4:30. And then you can always call headquarters. I can give our phone number later. It's on our website, or you can email the team. Any ways like that, we will get to you as quickly as we can in response.
Great. Thank you, Lori. Thanks,
Sure.
Christy, and the rest of the headquarters team. And by the way, I do get a lot of interactions. I was there, Laverna and I were, for one period of time, and the HQ team suggested that I help out by answering the phones. I was shocked how many phone calls came in one day and how often complicated they were. So, all right. So we typically do not have PowerPoint presentations. There are, though, some things that tonight will benefit from that. But my goal is to spend no more than 20 minutes on sort of the PowerPoint stuff to give you guys a bunch of updates. And it's going to go pretty quickly. Ask questions, then we'll go just to random questions throughout the afternoon. All righty. I'm always nervous sharing. I think I can do this. Okay, so I am hoping that y'all can see the PowerPoint presentation. Is that correct, Lori?
It's thinking about it. It's like trying to come in the. I would stop and try again. I know it just worked. We just tested everything. It just literally worked. But I would try again. Do your share again.
Okay, I suspect that's working now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And now let me go into the more challenging mode.
There
and that's
we go.
What probably okay. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So here's kind of an overview of what we're going to move through pretty quickly today, and there will be room for questions at the end of all of this. So I just always feel it's important for me to remind people what R, and R being the International Board of Trustees, which is the 12 region presidents plus the 9 people on the executive council. These are our priorities. We came up with these in Jackson Center in May last year as part of our 3-day strategic planning meeting. And the reason why we have strategic priorities is that it allows us to focus our effort and our resources and our communications. Lori's going to talk about our membership status and benefits, what to expect at an international rally, and our new Airstream Club Explorer membership program that we just launched with Airstream Inc., which is the factory. I think I'm going to talk about something I alluded to in my last president's column, which is our new courtesy parking partnership with Harvest Host. By the way, this came out of our strategy planning meeting in May as a high priority from the board, by the way. And I'll talk about the new headquarters office space. Many of you have heard discussions about an RV park that we're looking at trying to fund in Jackson Center. And I have to say, before anyone wonders, there are no club membership funds used on this. So there's none of our general fund, none of your $75 will be used on this. It's all going to be through, if it happens, through personal contributions. And by the way, the current office and headquarters, that 12 or 14 acres was actually donated to the club by a member roughly 30 years ago. That's how we got the current spot that we're in. So we have a lot of generous members, and we're counting on that to see if this is able to make it happen. I've got a little bit on the financials. We had some questions about that ahead of the time and, of course, online. And then we'll talk about some more stuff. Okay, first of all, these are our 5 strategic priorities. And the bullet points are interesting, but it's really important for us, like now, to talk a lot with our members. Members wonder what's going on about camping, about our officers, about partnerships, questions and answers. So what we're doing now and the Blue Beret and the various other communications are really around improving our internal communications. That includes the website as well. External communications are really important. We have a lot of partners. As Lori will share with you, we probably have 200 new members join our club each month. It's about maybe 150, 200 join our each month, and each one of those has information that they want to learn about the club. It's really important for us to welcome new members, but even more important to retain members. That's members that, like me, have been in the club for 15 years and members that have been in the club for 1 year or 30 years. It's important to everyone that we retain our members. And that's really done through making sure that we provide the benefits and the value that they're expecting when they pay their $75 to the club. Infrastructure was a big discussion back in May in Jackson Center. And this is physical infrastructure, so our buildings, which led into the desire to purchase a building. It's also about planning our finances to support our infrastructure. I got to say it again, it was a lot about how do we plan our finances to support our infrastructure. Many of you probably have worked in organizations or been around groups, be it a church or a nonprofit, that neglected putting money away every year. And then they had a roof issue, they had a plumbing issue, they had a structural issue, they didn't have the funds to do the repair. And so a lot of this is around how do we make sure that we have that cash available in long-term deposits to throw off interest to our group. And the last one is just training at all levels. I suspect half of you on this call have been asked to help out in our club at a local level, a region level, and we just have not yet provided good training. You know, how to be a newsletter editor, how to run a rally, how to fill out your officer forms, right? So those are the 5 priorities that we have. I'm going to now turn over to Lori to talk about, I'm just going to stop sharing, and she's going to pick up about our new member benefits. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks, Eric. So actually, I got a couple things I want to share with everybody. First of all, back in August, the board came to us. The board actually approved, thanks to, I think the Alberta Saskatchewan unit was interested in having maple leaves instead of stars. You know, stars are more US based, maple leaves are Canadian. So those are now available to our members. They will officially recognize your 5 years of membership. You can get those either through our store or, again, calling HQ, and the team will make sure you get them out to you. We have one of also Christy's jobs with the club is working on member benefits, because it kind of all works together, as in sponsorship for rallies and things of that nature. So we have a lot that we are working on to add to this amazing list. So just recently added were the campers card and camp scanner. Both those services are available. And along with that, we do still have a agreement with the Airstream Supply Company, of course, our courtesy parking, and we'll talk more about that on our expansion with Harvest Host, FCI Insurance, Goodyear, Griot's Garage, and you can see the list, and Solo Stoves. And actually, we're going to be adding the Solo Stove, if you haven't seen that, that has the Airstream logo, our Airstream Club logo on it, and we're going to be adding product soon on that. I think you can bake a pizza in it. That's their new pizza oven, so we're kind of excited about that. And then touching on some member growth, as I said, I started in the club in 2014, and right at that time is when we started to increase membership. And as you can see, up through today, we're now at 9,441 memberships. That was as of early this morning. And I've heard also that we've had a dozen plus join today. So excited about that. We have been on a steady growth. I really contribute the change between 2019 to 2021, just not COVID, but that was during our rebranding phase. That's when we reworked our website. So when we reworked the website, that included adding meta tags, adding certain terminology within our website, so that when people search Google, that we pop up more so than what we ever had in the past. So we're super excited that all that work back in several years ago is starting to pay off these days. Along with that, I lost my flipper. There we go. This is kind of our rate of joins. Obviously during not obviously, but during COVID, we really had a spike, as well as also in 2022, we had a spike of as you can see on the yellow. But I really feel like we are steady at this point of income, or I'm sorry, of new members coming into the club. And I can see us continuing that moving forward. And then I've been asked the question several times, what to expect at an international rally for those who don't attend. As we all know, that is like the epic event of the year for Airstream owners. And here are just a few things I wanted to point out throughout the event to expect. Things such as seminars, raffle door prizes, product demonstration, exhibitors, food, entertainment, block parties. We still have all of our traditional parades, the flag, the golf carts, the VAC, volunteer recognition, the pet show. And of course, the club is always so super well known for our community service projects, and it is something, I know it's a badge of honor. I know I'm very proud when I go searching for a community that wants to host host our international rally. I was also asked, we saw a question come in from Michael that asked how far in advance do we book out the international rally, how that's determined. So just to give you some background, we are trying to book 3 to 4 years out at least, and that's because of the market. A lot of these facilities are booking at least 4 to 5 years out. Our challenge is our size. It's a huge issue because it's hard to go someplace and get 1,200 or 1,500 hookups. So we're starting to really explore different options on how we can bring so many people into one location for the rally. And so myself, along with the rally committee, which is a team of 8, which are 4 staff members and 4 members, we do all this research. We talk to the people. We've been hosted. They'll bring us into their community, look at their sites, and then we take that back to the executive council, and we talk to them about what our recommendation is. And that's typically how those decisions are made. And Eric, before I turn it back over to you, there's one other thing I wanted to share that I hope everybody saw when they received the November Blue Beret, is that we have what they call a new magazine reader. And I sure hope everybody has an opportunity to look at the Blue Beret. And then it has that paper. So it's much easier. You can also download it. You can print it. There's here's all the contact information, things of that nature. So all of that is now available. And we hope having that new software involved with our Blue Beret will make it easier for folks to read that online.
Thanks, Laura. Okay, maybe if you could just tee up and talk about the Airstream Club Explorer membership as well, that'd be great.
Sure. So basically, the Explorer membership is we teamed up with Airstream Inc. We've been talking about this for several years. And so they now are sponsoring a complimentary 1-year membership for anybody who has joined since July 1st. So you have to purchase a new Airstream. And once that is purchased, then you're given a code by the dealer, and the dealer will work with you. And then we have an internal team of members that are helping bring these folks on. Eric is displaying the current ad that is running in Airstream Life, that Airstream Inc. So many Airstream names, right? Airstream Inc. placed this ad in Airstream Life magazine to help bring people's attention. So we're super excited. And this kind of goes back also to when Eric and I were at the dealers meeting to just talk about this and explain to the dealers how we can certainly help them with new owners and get them fall in love with the Airstream lifestyle. And I think as of October, we've had about 175 come through on the Explorer membership, and I know we have more coming in.
And that's in about 3 months, correct? Because we launched on August 1st.
July 1st is when
July
it launched. Yes.
Yeah.
And we're still doing things. Airstream Inc. is still working with dealers to get information to them and to make sure everybody's aware of this program. And so I feel like we're kind of on that soft increase up the hill that we're really starting to build some momentum to get up and make sure all the new owners know this is available to them.
Thanks. And I've told some people this as much as I can. We believe that the local clubs are the foundation. The 103 local clubs or units are the foundation of our club, comma. There are some of our members that either don't have a geographic preference or not ready yet to decide. So the goals of the Airstream Explorer membership are to have them learn about our club and also get to an event, right? Because all of us kind of know that if we can get someone who just joined the club, if we can get them to come to an event, that is by far the best way to get them involved and interested in our club. In fact, Laverne and I were just out at a rally down in California, and I think we had 2 people that just joined clubs while they were out there because they came to an event, they had a great time, and that's what we really want to do.
So Eric, let me jump in there. I saw a question asked if the Explorer Club is different than the Airstream Club. No, it is not. The Explorer program is just what we're kind of, I guess is the marketing name for Airstream Inc. To direct people to the club. So it's actually the exact same membership.
Thank you. Yeah, good clarification. Okay, kind of piling on down the thing. So we have this thing called courtesy parking, and it's the upper left-hand little image here that you see. And this has been around for, boy, I have to say probably 6 or 8 years, if not longer. And the idea is that if a Airstream Club International WBCCI member is interested, then they can opt to advertise their house only to club members, by the way. They can say, hey, if you're coming through Chicago, you're coming through Iowa, need a place to stay overnight. I've got a great driveway. I've got a backyard. I've got a farm. And so we have a map. It's only accessible by members. It's locked down to log in, and that's the map on the left-hand side. If you drilled into it, you could see if I'm going to Colorado or the Four Corners area, you could drill into it and show the people. You click on it, and it would show the member's name and give their contact information. So back in May at our strategy meeting, our board was saying, look, this is one of the benefits that most of our club members don't know about, and frankly, they find it a little challenging to use. Right, because we've all traveled and we know that it's hard to get a campground. It's expensive. If you're staying overnight, hey, why not stay at a member's place? And so we understood that Harvest Host, which is very popular in our club, might be a good place to partner with. And so we've just signed an agreement with Harvest Host. We inked the deal probably about a month ago. Thank you, Kathy Giese of our executive council for bringing that one home. And so what it's going to look like, and by the way, this will not be launched until sort of the spring of this upcoming year. There's a lot of work we have to do, is that we will take all of our 800 plus courtesy parking hosts. These are the members, and we'll invite them to join this platform for free. And then we'll also offer free to all of our club members the ability to look at our Harvest Host through our courtesy parking through the Harvest Host platform. So what it looks like is down below that long, the lower left. Laverne and I are Harvest Host members. And one of the beauties of Harvest Host is that you can say, hey, I'm going to travel from Santa Rosa to Jackson Center. Show me all the Harvest Hosts along my route within plus or minus 100 miles. And that's what this shows here. That I would dial into that. And you can see in the upper right-hand corner, one of our favorite places, plug for Pine Bluffs Distilling. It's a lovely Harvest Host just east of Wyoming, Rock Springs. And the beauty of the Harvest Host platform, and this is what our board told us, is that although we're staying at friends' houses, members' houses, it can be kind of awkward. The beauty of Harvest Host is that when we set this up for our Harvest host, you'll be able to request a stay online. It'll go to the Harvest Host person or our club member who will look at it on their phone and say yes or no. It also talks about attributes, and you can see on there, like, okay, what's the maximum rig size that can stay in my house in Colorado? You know, how many spots do I have? How many nights per stay am I allowing? Can I do same day requests, yes or no? And you'll be able to reserve through the app really quite easily. It's a wonderful experience. And our belief is that if we can embed our courtesy parking into this, then it'll be much more accessible and much more used. Now, for club members that are already Harvest Host or who choose to join Harvest Host in the paid subscriptions, they will also see the standard Harvest Hosts, right? So you can decide between, am I going to stay at a golf course? Am I going to stay at a church, a winery, or at one of our members' houses? So again, we're pretty excited. A lot more information is going to come out about this. Our first step is to talk to the 800 or so member hosts and find out if they're interested in opting into this. We hope most of them will. And then if they are, we'll ingest their data and help work with Harvest Host to populate it. Okay, so pretty excited. Again, it's been a while coming, and we're excited to roll this out. The next thing, and this is in the spirit of rumor control, sort of, and this has been kind of quiet. With any real estate purchase, you got to kind of keep it quiet. So the board has been involved, of course, since day one, but we haven't broadcast this to our members because we had to complete the real estate purchase first. And so and by the way, this slide came from around in May or June last year from the strategy planning meeting. We realized that we wanted to do something in Jackson Center. The current building that is, what, 30 years old, Lori?
Yes, 1985 it was built.
Yeah, there have been no repairs to it. If you've been there, it looks its age. It's not a very attractive place. But in frankly, doesn't serve the needs of our staff there. And when our members come in to look at heritage items or to look at buy club stuff or just to relax, it's not a great place. And so the combination of it needing significant repairs and being the wrong style, we said, look, let's move HQ operations out of the current building. That addresses the safety, maintenance, and increased space needs. We'll do some short-term patches to the existing building to make it available for historical use. And we have a lot of historical items relating back to our club of 65 years old. We'd like to take back from Airstream, to take back from various repositories around the country, and put it on display in our clubhouse. Right, our office staff won't be there, but we can use it for people to look there. And ultimately, we hope to build it into part of an RV park. We also want to provide some hookups. You know, some of y'all that come to Jackson Center and are there for a night or two, we'd love for you to park behind the building for free and use the 330 amp hookups back there. And we can probably do 5 to 7 more. There's also been something that's been talked about before my time in the club. So not that I would love to say it was my idea, but I got to give credit to people that were before me that said, hey, you know, wouldn't it be fun to have a RV park, a limited RV park in Jackson Center area? So we decided we'd take a look at that. Airstream has expressed interest in partnering with us on that. We haven't inked the final deal yet. A lot we have to do, but that's what we're looking at also. Let me go into sort of that. So our current office building, this is not the picture of it. This is the building we just bought. If you've been to Jackson Center and you're looking at the building from the street, this is a building to the right. Or if you're geographically inclined, geospatially inclined, it's on the west side of the building. And so, whenever you have a building come up that's adjacent, that's the time to look at buying it. And so we were fortunate to be able to buy it. The adjacent parcel right now that's ours, it's a medical clinic and an office. And so we bought the whole thing. The bank is still in the left side. The right side is vacant. And so once the bank moves out, they're actually paying us lease revenue right now. We'll take this whole spot for our HQ operations. Here's the timing for it. Phase 1 was a purchase of building, which is done. Phase 2 was vacate 803, the current building, and move over there. And then we want to configure 803, the current building, for member and historical use. Again, I'll make these slides available a little bit later. Okay, so that's that. The next part that kind of came along with that, and this is a wish thing, and I hope we can do it, but who knows? The idea was to basically come up with a presence in Jackson Center that sort of expands our legacy. Some of you guys know that may remember that our club a number of years ago, through really nice donor contributions, we funded a monument, the Peace Garden Monument in North Dakota. Lori, do you remember how much our members raised for that?
Actually, Gail Harrower, I think I saw her on the line here, but I believe it was over $200,000.
Yeah, it's a wonderful statue, recognizing military and our volunteers and stuff. And so we're hoping our members do the same thing for this. And so I got to say, over and over and over again, there is no use of membership funds. So your $75 that you pay every year, it's not going to this. It is not. Just like the Peace Garden, right? If it happens, it'll because of members, ex-members, commercial partners, things like that want to build this. And so the idea, but it'll be open to everyone. The idea is that it's a place for our members to have a nice private Jackson Center experience. Although Lori kids about the fact that Jackson Center is kind of small, now though there is a Heritage Center at Airstream Inc., which is amazing, and their touring coach and their towables factory tours are really good. Plus, of course, many of our members go there to get their stuff worked on, their trailers worked on.
And let me jump in there, Eric. Another dream of mine, and I've been talking to Airstream Service about it too. If this does come to is developed, one of the questions I asked assistance on from Airstream Inc. is to have some stationary units at our park. So for example, if you take your rig in for service, you can actually stay in a stationary unit. So you don't have to do this unload, load, have no place for you and your animals to go if you have animals. So that's another service that we want to loop into this park here in Jackson Center. It'd just be convenient for, we believe, everybody all around. So keep your fingers crossed we can get that looped in as well.
Okay, and I'm gonna zip through some of these. And so here's the team that the IBT assigned to work on this. I'm the project lead. Lori is all the operations communications. David Gully, one of my friends, great friends and members down in Region 6. He's a business partnership lead. Alan Rabb down in Region 3 is on the financials. Fred Keel, he's currently Region 4 president, who also has a strong construction background and a great familiarity with Jackson Center. He's the building and construction lead. And then we have a capital campaign team, Greg Badner, ex-Region 8 president, Ginny Stetler on the exec council out of Region 4, Johnny Hansen for Region 12, and Jeff Dahlbrimper from, I don't know where Jeff's from. He's either 6th or something, but he's over there in Oklahoma. So it's a strong group of people that are all volunteers. And so what's happening right now is at this point, we estimate it's about $1.6 million we need to raise through private funds to fund a clubhouse and historical center and an RV park. Right now, we're talking to some of we call the founding donors. These are the people that have a strong interest in this over the years and are willing to help this project get off the ground. Later, we'll talk to members and local clubs and regions and tourism, and we've already started talking to some private businesses to see if they're interested in pledging anything. Okay, to skip to this, it's on our current parcel. If you look at this map here, in the right one, the thing in blue, that's the parcel that we just acquired and we bought. That's the parcel we own, and the one next to it is the one that we just bought. And so we put it here on this parcel to the right in the back, which is a ex-cornfield or field. We're tentatively calling it the Wally Byam Airstream Club Park, just for a name, right? On a 10 acres, we think about 40 spots are about right. It's got to be, full hookups for sure. Dump, portable water, We're really interested in incorporating some of the historical Wally Circle areas. I think that means a lot to some of the people that might be interested in donating to have that heritage part of our history. And again, consideration of possible airstreaming needs. We think we want to tear the clubhouse down. We're not sure. The board talked about it a lot. We're just not sure. It's either we rebuild it for a clubhouse, but frankly, the thought maybe just to strip it down and put what's called a pole barn in, which I didn't really know what that was, but it's an inexpensive way of doing a building suitable for a clubhouse. This is a conceptual design. Okay, here's where we are right now. So we have a rough expense revenue plan. We have a rough business plan. We've updated the exec council and IBT a while ago. We've updated Airstream. Right now, and thank you, Jenny Snetler, we're kicking off a feasibility study. That study is going to cost around $9,000. 2 regions have actually came up to us just out of the blue and offered to help fund it. And so we did a courtesy ask for the other regions to see if anyone is, but whether they do or not, it doesn't matter. We're going to get the feasibility study going. And once that's done, we'll have a better sense of all the details, right? What's the cost per developed site? Is it 15,000, 20,000 per developed site? What about underground utilities? What about underground tanks? What about road cuts? What about electricity, water, sewer, permitting, adjacent mitigation for adjacent, parcel owners, a whole bunch of stuff, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff that we have to figure out. And then it'll be a quiet phase. And typically when you do a quiet phase of a capital campaign, you try to raise about 50% before you launch it big. And if you can raise the 50%, then it's probably going to happen. If you can't raise the 50% through some high dollar donors, then it's probably not going to happen. Okay, so that's it on that. Okay, breather. The last thing I want to just touch on, and by the way, we have an IBT meeting, which is open to the members on November 30th, and Per Hamquist and his finance team will be doing a deep dive into our finances. As always, we do this every quarter. This is the last data that we had. This was the data back in May 2023 in Jackson Center. And this was during our 3-day strategy meeting. And I'm not going to go through all these data, but as Lori showed, our memberships from 2019 forward is pretty much flat from 8,000 memberships to about 9,600. So some growth there. Our income and expenses have generally tracked memberships, and our net income, which is sort of our income minus expenses, has been pretty flat. The loss in 2020 was because of COVID. We had to cancel the Loveland International Rally. That took a hit into our reserves, but by and large, with the exception of 2020, we've done a pretty good job of matching our expenses to our income. And by the way, we have not used reserve dollars to subsidize this, by the way. I got to be clear on that. This is just income versus expenses. It has nothing to do with our reserve dollars. We're really happy about that. Okay, and so these are our reserve dollars. I'm not going to go into this, but basically what it shows, this was a great report from Matt and the team last year, is that we have reserve CDs, and they were $750,000 back in 2019. We used it to do the website and the database project in 2020ish or so, and then we also took some more out in 2023, which doesn't show, to help the to buy the building next door. One of the questions that I had for the finance committee back in May, and Matt and the team did a great job of, what is the appropriate level of reserves, right? Because as a membership organization, you don't want to be sitting out a whole bunch of member dollars for no reason. Like, why should I sit on $900,000 of member revenue when it can be used to benefit the members? And so typically nonprofits, they have a goal of 20 to 30% of annual expenses. That comes out to around mid 20%. And so we're sitting around that right now. So we feel pretty good about our reserves, although we did pull some out for the building purchase. So this is the final committee recommendation from May. And I love this, by the way. And this is one of the things that the finance committee now is working on. Their goals from me and the rest of the EC are, number one, better financial reporting, better financial analysts, and better financial controls. And so they've been doing a really deep dive into our stuff the last couple of months and through last year with Matt. And they're estimating, they're recommending we keep about $360,000 in reserves, for a rainy day that we do not pull from. So by the way, reserves you never want to pull from. Like, reserves are for an emergency, right? The building crashes down, you have a COVID, you have whatever. Even more importantly, though, is that we really got to make a capital fund for large expenditures. And so we're putting, I think, what, $50,000 in the current budget in to build back up this capital fund. So that's in our current budget right now. And the idea is to put some money into that fund for maintenance items. So we don't find ourselves 20 years from now not having the money to replace a roof, right? So I'm really happy with the team. Alan Rabb, ex-CFO, Ken and Christy, also CFOs and CPAs. We have a very, very strong team. So thank you. Thank you, Para, for leading that team. All right, that's it for me. And I went over time, but that was a lot. So now let's look at the Q's and A's and kind of go through general Q's and A's.
Yeah, and I'll start actually. The question came up from if do you have to be from Canada to get the Maple Leafs? No, there's no restrictions. If you want Maple Leafs to represent your 5-year memberships, you are more than welcome to. Again, call HQ or go to the club store and you can get those ordered for you. We'll get them right out to you.
Lori, there's a question from Jerry asking about the growth prior to 2001. What was the membership level in the 90s?
Yeah, I can definitely get that for you. It's not right off the top of my head, those numbers, but actually the 70s and 80s were the biggest numbers. So, but I will be happy to, if you want to send me an email, I can give you the numbers as far back as we have them.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, some of the things that we've done differently to really make our club more relevant for our current demographics, current membership, current norms is make it more fun, frankly. And so we've tried to track that. I think that's why our club keeps growing and growing. All right, Millie O'Donnell. Hey, Millie wants us to know that, yeah, only folks, the only people that can see our courtesy parking data will be our club members, by the way. No one else can see our courtesy parking layer. So don't worry about non-Airstream club members, latching onto you through this harvest hosting with courtesy parking.
Yeah, I'll answer. There was another question here, the next one from Lisa, in regards to caravans and that she ever paid. The caravan leader is going to be sending back their funds. So Lisa, that actually is how we have the program structured. Each caravan leader manages their own finances for that caravan. The role of HQ is just to help them acquire or receive payment, since we have the ability to do credit cards and electronic transfers and things of that nature. So maybe down the road, the caravan leaders won't be inconvenienced, but currently that is how the process has been structured for them to manage refunds themselves.
Okay, thank you, Lori. So Jim Cock, hey Jim, ask a question about to explain the Wally circle. Now Jim knows this; he's been on a zillion of these, but thank you for reminding me. The Wally circle is really cool. If you look at some of these old pictures, you see this circle of Airstreams, just in a circle. In the middle is where people hang out, and we call it the Wally circle. There's actually a mathematical form on our website that tells you how to lay out the circle. Colorado has done some of these recently. Some of the caravans do it. It's like a wagon wheel, basically. It's a really cute, kind of iconic thing. Milo and Diane, hello, ladies. They ask a question about who manages the RV park. So if we do this, we know for sure, because we've met with our attorneys, I don't know, 3 or 4 times on this, that it needs to be a separate entity. So, right, there's Airstream Inc. is an entity. Airstream Club International, WBCCI, is an entity. The foundation is an entity. But this needs to be a separate entity that probably will be for profit. And the reason why is that we want to isolate liability from our club, and it only benefits some of our members. And it also allows us to manage it as a separate thing. That way, any overages or shortages doesn't come back to our club. So it would definitely be a separate entity. We almost certainly will, when we form the entity, have some reserved board seats for people in our club and probably some other major investors. That's kind of the way you typically do it. Jerry asked about what about considering the new Wally Park as a rally site? Yes, it already is. In fact, I think Steve Blackmer and the Vintage people are okay me telling this. I think they've told their members is that in May, I think it's upcoming May, they have, Lori. They've told people.
I don't know.
In May, we're really, really excited. I can't tell you how excited. The Vintage Airstream Club is planning a first of a kind caravan and rally in Jackson Center. And although we won't have the RV park built by then, the extra space that we have plus the back space, they're going to be using for getting 50 to 60 vintage trailers there in and around the area. So yeah, absolutely, Jerry. That's one of the goals, is that as people come through, as caravans come through, you'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't, how many caravans come through Jackson Center and just park somewhere and come visit the office. They go get their stuff worked on. They go to the Heritage Center, blah, blah, blah.
And again, I have big dreams on this RV park, and if we can redo the clubhouse, we've talked about, having a dog run, so an enclosed safe area. So if you travel with pets, to give them an opportunity to run. If we could have a washer and dryer, things of that nature too. Just a basic member convenience center is kind of how I'm looking at that. We hope we can develop if this moves forward. One question I wanted to jump in that we received from Johnny Hansen is about if there's training programs available for local clubs to learn about agenda development, recording minutes, store documents, and things of that nature. Johnny, I can let you know that there is a team working on those type of training materials to get together. We also have a team working on kind of reorganizing a portion of our website that has some of these how-tos for our local region officers that are in these roles. So all of that is in development.
Okay, Amy, hello there. I missed your question. I apologize. Amy asked the question, are these numbers in thousands, 100,000s? They're in thousands. Most of them are. So the memberships are in, direct digits, like 8,000 memberships, so that's like 16,000 members. The income, for example, if we said, for example, we have 948 income in 2019, that's 948,000. So sorry about that, in thousands. We'll make sure that we add that onto our presentations. Let's see, I'm going to skip Douglas's and let you answer that, Lori. I want to answer Carol and Glenn's question about, are there plans to expand the number of Airstream only parks? So one of the things that is not well known is that there's about 10 to 12 parks, privately owned parks, by the way, that exist across the US that are Airstream only parks. Some people think they're club owned. That is not the case. They are owned by a local 501c7 or a for-profit organization. It's like Washington Lanyard Harbor, Texas Airstream, North Texas Airstream Community, across the country. Those are owned by the individuals, not us. So this actually is a similar model. I would love to see those expanded. We don't control them. We have, though, started discussions with some of the Airstream park ownerships, the groups, to figure out if we can get them listed on our website, because we really want to make sure that our Airstream owners know about it. Again, here's a plug for one of our favorite ones, Pinwood Airstream Park. It's in Pennsylvania. It's nestled in a gorgeous area. A lot of people don't even know it exists. Laverne and I stop there every time we're going through the area, right? So we'd like to get some more visibility to some of those Airstream parks. But again, they're not owned by us. Sean asked, hello, Sean, Region 12, yay. She asked about, is the founding donor level based on dollar or contribution amount or years in club? I got to tell you, Sean, if anyone is interested in contributing more than $1,000 at this point, or even $50, let us know. Lori has opened a bank account. And by the way, I should say this, it's really important. A new bank account has been opened that's completely separate from our club finances, right? We do not want to commingle donations into club finances or the other way around. So there's a general ledger set up in our books, plus an account set up just to get contributions into that. And at some point when we form a new entity, that bank account balance will be transferred into the new entity. No, there's no level, but yeah. So, but if you want to do $50,000, we will name an area of that park called the Mike and Sean Blom historical area. So.
Okay, let me jump in here. So Doug's question is about, how do local clubs learn about the new Explorer Pro members? So Barb Darien has a team of members across the country that we're trying to give a concierge type welcome to our newer members to help guide them through the club, as in letting them know about where an event is. And that's our goal, is to get our new friends, our new members to an event. We feel like that is a key for renewing and for falling in love with the club, is just getting to an event. more so than just forcing them into a club. So our goal is get them to an event, have them find their people, and then they'll transfer into a local club and stay forever, like most of you have over the years, which is just amazing. So Barb is working on that. You can find her email on our website, as well as in the Blue Beret. If you have any suggestions or thoughts, I'm sure she would welcome an email from you.
Okay, answer a couple other questions. Amy, again, she asked about are the donations, and I suspect to the RV park tax deductible? Maybe. And so Amy, we actually shouldn't actually, we are our executive council, we're very conservative on things like this. And so we spent a lot of time talking to our attorneys about what constitutes tax beneficial. And just so y'all know this, there's 501c3s, which are nonprofit, and those contributions into C3s are generally tax deductible. 501c3s are typically for education, for religious, things like that. 501c7s, which our club is, that has a tax benefit, but there's no tax donation capable because we're classified as a nonprofit recreation, and recreational does not qualify for tax deductions. And so we know, because we asked this with our attorneys a number of times, is that, look, this RV park, can we, in the development of it, is a tax deductible? The answer is probably not, because you can imagine, if there's people coming and going, it's really an RV park. It looks like an RV park. It smells like an RV park. We don't want to risk it. So it's going to almost certainly be a for-profit organization, we believe that the the historical center component of the clubhouse, which may be a third to one half of the clubhouse, that portion of the clubhouse probably will be structured as a 501c3. And that one, people who donate into the historical side of that clubhouse, that we're pretty sure can be tax deductible. But we'll know more later. I guarantee you, when we ask for donations or put it out there for donations, we'll be really, really clear whether it is or not. Okay. Let's see.
So Ed Hash, absolutely. Amazon drop boxes. I'm excited that big old Jackson Center, we now have a little of the Amazon vans that come to Jackson Center. So I'm sure we could probably, again, all this develop, we could see if we can get a drop box. If not, if you are coming to Jackson Center and you need a package, call HQ, send it to HQ. We will hang on to it for you until you get into Jackson Center, and then you can swing by and pick it up.
Okay, Ralph asked about what does a member benefit from merging with Harvest Host? But this is just for the courtesy parking program. Of course, it's not a broader merge with Harvest Host. So right now, any club members, you get a discount into Harvest Host. That's been around for a couple of years now. Laverne and I took advantage of it. Many of you had. For those members who don't want to be Harvest Host members, they'll get a free log on to Harvest Host, but that login will only show the club courtesy parking locations. So that's all you'll see, and that's free, completely free for everybody, host and for us.
Sorry.
So, by the way, we have someone that came on screen. Can you guys fix that?
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So what Harvest Host sees in this is that we did an analysis to look at what percent of our club members are also Harvest Host members, paid Harvest Host members. I think it was around 30 or 40% of our members, club members, were currently Harvest Host members. So it is Harvest Host's hope that when our club members get onto the free layer and use courtesy parking, that some percentage of those members may choose to buy an additional paid membership to see the rest of the Harvest Host properties. But of course, that's completely, optional for our members. Hope that explained that. So the member benefit is basically, it's a great navigation system, great to plan your stops at using our club courtesy parking for free, a great way to make reservations, things like that.
So I want to touch on Nancy. Hi, Nancy, and welcome to the club. I see you said you're a brand new member. And oops, your message just moved in front of me. And want to understand the grand structure of our organization. So Airstream Inc., the manufacturer, the one who built your beautiful Airstream, is a separate business, separate entity from us. Although we work hand in hand, It's my sister down the road, or my brother, or my extended family down the road. So we do work very closely together. And if you want to give either HQ a call or send us an email and see if anything in particular you're looking for to learn more about clubs, if you're wanting to learn more about caravans, rallies, the team at HQ can help you, as well as Barb Darian and her membership team. And that's exactly what we're trying to get better at, is welcoming people in and explaining and guiding you through all the avenues that we have for you to enjoy your new Airstream. Loving the updates. Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate that.
A question that Catherine asks about, we'll be sending a link for how we can donate to be founding sponsors. Yeah, we will, Catherine. We really need to complete the feasibility study first. You know, for example, if now I live in California, so you know, land use and land policy is different everywhere we go. But we need to understand first if there's any big surprises ahead of us before we launch this big. We don't want to take donor money and find out there's a surprise. The project went from 1.6 million to 10 million. We just don't want to do that. And so the feasibility study, when completed, probably in a couple of months or so, will give those answers. And if we feel, we being the board, feels that it's still a feasible project, then we'll start going out to talk to potential donors. Thank you. Kathy asks about how do I find out where the Airstream only parks are located? You know, unfortunately, there's no way to do that other than the Airstream parks. Remember, they're owned by a separate organization. If they've signed up to be an advertising partner or advertiser, then they're on our website. Or in the Blue Beret. Like I know that Minnesota Airstream Club, I'm pretty sure is advertising partner. North Texas Airstream Community is. I think Washington Lanyard Harbor is. There may be some other ones, but because they pay, you know, we feature those people. We're trying to encourage other Airstream parks, if they want to get outside people coming in and our club members, to advertise. But I would love to see a more comprehensive map, in addition to the map. That's something that we're starting to work on. But it's a one-by-one discussion, frankly. Okay, let's go to the Blue Beret and the membership directory. We haven't touched on that yet.
Yeah.
Let me just kick this off. Yeah, sorry, right. I forgot about that one. I kind of got stuck up in the financial update. So back in May, and this is all tied May at the 3-day IBT seminar, and this is the meeting. This is again all the region presidents and exec council. You know, one of our strategic initiatives was around better communications, both internal and external. And we realized even back then that while paper is still important in most of our lives, our magazines, our communications come through the thing that we have in our hand. And even people, our cell phones, even people that say they're not digital, you see them on Facebook quite a bit. So we know that the vast majority of our members are accustomed to interacting with organizations digitally. And in fact, we also realized, and Lori's team did a good presentation to the board, is that our advertisers also. So our advertisers were starting to depart us because we only had mainly paper publications. And by the way, the advertisers are important to offset the cost of the Blue Beret production. Advertisers these days, they want digital ads because they can be tracked. They can tell how many people clicked on it. They can look at the sort of how valid it is. But paper stuff, and they know no one looks at paper anymore. So coming out of that meeting in May, we realized that having a Blue Beret that came out 10 issues a year was probably too much. We also were struggling with the fact that compared to 10, 20 years ago, where our members contributed content on a regular basis, we were having a really hard time getting interesting content into the Blue Beret 10 times a year. And so we kind of figured that, look, let's move to where our members are, which is digital, and we can probably do it. We want to keep the paper because it's really valuable for a bunch of reasons. So let's move down from 10 down to 4. So that was what was decided back in the spring, I would say, in kind of August or so. And we went back and forth between having 2 issues a year, 4 issues a year, 6 issues a year. We ended up with 4 a year. But then at the same time, we launched the blog, which is very popular, by the way. We also launched the digital Blue Beret, and Lori shared with you the new interface we launched for digital Blue Beret, which is a click, turn, plus you can download it in a PDF. So related to that discussion was the annual membership directory. And for those of you who don't know what that is, because it's something that we would print every year on February. And it was a snapshot from December of all the, January, of all the members in our club. And we would send it out. The book was about, I don't know, about 3/4 of an inch thick. And with postage costs and the fact that when the region presidents surveyed their members, most people didn't really value it that much. They use the online lookup tool. There's a really cool tool online to look up. I use all the time. Most members recognize that while they may not be in cellular coverage sometimes, the vast majority of people's lives these days is in cellular coverage. So they could actually download it or they could actually do online. And so it felt like a lot of money that we were sending out that most of our members didn't even really want anymore. And the reality is that we're getting close to 200 new members a month. So by the time people get it, there's probably 500 new members in our club that aren't in the directory. So we said, look, let's do something different that makes more sense. And so we formed a special committee from the IBT. These are region presidents and club members that looked at the issue and came back with a recommendation, which the board agreed to do. And that was that we want to keep the printed directory around, but only make it available if you want to buy it. And so we're going to use this year to find out, how many people actually really want the printed directory. So it's available for pre-order. At the same time, you could go on right now and download the directory into PDF right now for free. So it'll always be available for free online. Just click and say download the directory and you can get it for free. So that's the answer about the digital directory and the printed directory and the Blue Beret. So there you go. That's the background on that.
All right, so I'm going to jump in here. John H has a question about us being present at RV shows, major RV shows like the Tampa RV show, etc. So yes, we have been in the past, and we're going to work with our local clubs and those that are close to some of those bigger events to do more presence at them, because it is important to get our name out there as we have in the past.
There's a good one. I was typing an issue to iPad, quote unquote iPad, and says, can webmasters see how many people go to the local club webpage? Absolutely. I'm going to type into the answer how to do that. I'm going to ask that you go to the Information Technology Committee, and they can help you figure out how to do that for your local club, by the way. We actually do this on our large site, on our main site, and we looked at where people go to on our current club site, and they go to events. They want to find out what events are happening. They go to join now, no surprise. They go to the International Rally, and they go to their page, that the member profiles. And so, yeah, we can do that. Thank you. Great idea. Okay, Lori, I'm going to type something. You pick up the next questions.
Well, actually, I was going to toss it over to you, because Doug Hart. Hey, Doug, how you doing? He's asking, will you create a business plan, and if appropriate, have you considered offering the opportunity to invest in addition to donations? And I'm assuming in the RV park. So I think I will try to answer that, although Eric's the lead on that.
I'm done. I can answer now. I'm done typing. So maybe, I think that's intriguing, Doug. It really is. That has not been our direct path at this point. But remember, we haven't got the feasibility study back. And by the way, part of the feasibility study is not just the infrastructure. This company that we found, thanks Jenny Settler, they specialize in designing and building and business plans for RV parks. And so they've got a number of different business models, and they're going to help us figure out sort of what's the best business model, what to expect. So we'll ask about that question. It's intriguing, by the way. So thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? I think we've been clipping through these pretty good. I
Remember,
do
you can
want to
ask anything, anything. You guys haven't asked a hard question yet. Well, I shouldn't say that because that's hubris. I understand that.
I do want to mention I'm super excited, even being 11 months out. As of this morning, we've had 939 people registered for Sedalia. So please, if you're interested in going to Sedalia, I just know we're going to sell out soon. I just have that feeling, and we are really trying to plan another amazing event. I know I'm a little biased with our team, but we really work hard to try to find things to make sure there's something for everybody. Just like, the fair mentality, there's something for everybody. So I'm excited about that, and excited that
Yeah.
it's going to be our first fall rally. So don't forget to sign up.
And I got to put a plug out. So Laverne and I are VAC members, Vintage Airstream Club members. So I guess, excuse me, but Steve Blackmer and James Shaw, they've got some really exciting ideas about the VAC event that'll be open to everyone in Sedalia. So I'm really pumped. In fact, I'm already starting to think about how I dress for that. So golf carts. So some of you may remember that if you went to Wyoming that we made sure that our members could opt in. Sorry, they could choose to rent a golf cart. You don't have to. We have shuttles, golf carts, people mover shuttles. Thank you. But frankly, when you're carrying your chairs around and going distance to visit your buddies, it's nice to have a golf cart if you want. And so the golf carts in Wyoming were very expensive. And that was because they came from a place a long way away. Fortunately, in Sedalia, Missouri, the golf carts will probably be a lot cheaper, probably a half of the cost of the golf carts. And one thing Lori and I are doing now in the terms of in the area of partnerships, we talk semi-regularly with the directors of a couple of other clubs. They're like us. So we talk with the directors of Escapees about kind of what they're doing because they have big rallies also. We also just started talking. We just had a couple of meetings with the directors of Newmar, which are the big coaches. And Newmar was just in Sedalia, Missouri, about a month ago. And so we had some good discussions with them. And they rented golf carts and had some good ideas. So we're trying to learn from our partner RV groups as well, in terms of what vendors work, structures of the rallies, even how we come in and park and stuff, things like that. So yeah, excited about the golf carts.
Yeah, so Barb Darian has asked, do we have spots for new members? Absolutely, we have spots for new members, and we want the new members there. Typically, what we've seen in the past is we normally have 300 to 400 rigs that come to the international that are what we call first timers. Just not necessarily first timers as in like new members, but first timers to a rally. And again, we work really hard to find those spots so people can connect. So we have those. We'll also have a first timers, what we call a GAM for those that don't know our acronyms. That is again a get acquainted meeting, but it's going to be more of a social party type thing. Again, just to help navigate those that are new to the IR of what to go see and what to do.
Okay, so just in general, I'm an engineer, so I'm all about time and stuff. So we are 2 minutes over the hour, but Lori and I will stick around answering questions for the next 15 minutes or so. But for those of you that are done at 5 o'clock Pacific, I just want to thank you. We had 150, 160 people join this time, and we love it. We really love this time to talk with you guys. And I think all of you who know me, and hopefully now Lori, we love to get your comments on any one of my president's emails. I have my email address and often my phone number, and you would be surprised how many people call and talk, and I absolutely love it. It's a great club to be part of. Okay, Roger has some questions about, so welcome to the club, a new member, about these subgroups. So they're called kind of affinity groups, right? So if you belong to a local club, which most of us do, there are some things that are, I would say, I call those vertical clubs in the marketing space because you're usually geographically oriented. There's some things that cut across multiple clubs. For example, if you have a vintage Airstream trailer, well, those guys are kind of crazy, kind of fun. There's a club that for those people. And so you're still part of your local club, but you can sign up to also be a part of this intra club, it's called, and they focus on vintage. There's a new one that's focused on boondocking, and I think Jason Grindle out here in California is a new president for the boondocking club. there's a sub segment of our club that really likes to boondock. And so the Boondockers Intra Club is trying to put on events that are boondocking. We have a base camp interest group also, same thing. The base camp trailers, which I really would love to have one of those also. They're a little bit different. They go in backcountry a lot more. There's Stella's Sisters, which is for women who tow alone, right? Or women towers. There's Indie Streamers, which is for people that often are towing single, be it male or female. I've hung out with them a couple times when we've traveled across the country. There's Amateur Radio Intra Club. I'm a ham guy. Alpha 6 Echo Mike is my call sign. And a lot of y'all don't want to go to a rally where we have a bunch of hams talking on radios. I don't know why not, but we love it, right? So it's nice to get together. In fact, I was talking to one of my buddies last weekend, and we're going to probably do a ham centric rally out here in California for us people to sit on the radio and talk to people. But that's why we do that. We really want to make sure that we meet members where they want to be, frankly, and we have a couple more as well. So hope that answered that question.
And I want to touch on Steve Olson was asking about the number of renewal notices coming out that for folks that lapse or expire in January. Steve, sure they could be reduced, but I also want to let you know that our staff has to process over 6,000 renewals in a very short window. So we are maybe a little aggressive on trying to get renewals done. Because there's a lot of work that, again, go behind the scenes to get everybody processed, which relates to this printed directory. So we have to have everybody processed. So the time January 1 dings, everybody is still current in their mode. So we will look at our structure. And then as soon as you renew, obviously the emails stop, or if you unfortunately have to leave us, which we hope you don't, you can let us know that, and then they can take you out of that loop.
But I just love seeing some of the people that we haven't seen in a while. Gary and Pam, they were with us in California. They moved to the East Coast, and yeah, they just shouted out a hi, and it's good stuff. So thank you guys. Let's see what else. Thank you for the thanks. We're doing another one in a couple of hours, I think, and so we have to stay awake. But it really it's truly a joy. And your questions make us better. By the way, the ideas we get, we want you to understand that, we're a community, right? And we need that input from you. All right, looks like we're kind of
sorry, I love the answer. Again, our goal at HQ is to help our members. So Kathy Denny on her iPad is asking that she's driving from Iowa to Yuma next week. How do I get connected to the Airstream community for free camping? Eric, are you in a position to share our current courtesy parking map? Put him on the spot here real quick. If not, again, Kathy, you can
I'm bringing it up
at the office. But if you are logged into the member only section of airstreamclub.org.
I'm getting it. Okay, let me share my screen, by the way. So it look a little bit different, by the way, because I've got some more buttons up here because I'm logged into the back end right now. So forgive that. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Ooh. I can do this. No, maybe I can't. Hang on a second. Anyway, you get the idea. So under current members up here, if you come down to courtesy parking, click on that, and it'll take you to this map. So let's say, for example, let's see, where did you say you were going? Lori, help me out here.
Going from Iowa to Yuma.
Yuma. I guess that's Arizona, right?
Yep.
So I go to Yuma, Arizona, and let's just assume I'm close enough. So I can scroll in, and I may be off, but you get the idea. I'll scroll into this one over here and click on it. And so here's that particular person and their contact information, phone number, email address. And so you just email them or call them, and they will let you know if they have spots. They'll tell you about if they're going to be there or not. They'll tell you how big it can be. And I've done this, Laverne and I have done this many, many times, and it is always just a hoot because it's almost like an Airbnb, but with guests, but hosts that you like or just getting to know. So we sit on the decks and we talk. sometimes the hosts say, look, we're gonna have dinner, you guys do your thing, we'll catch up for cocktails later. Some days say, hey, look, we're really busy, we have kids in school, let us know if you have a problem, take off and close the gate behind you. I think almost everyone we've stayed with, we've remained in contact with, just because it's been so enjoyable. So hope that helps that.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to wrap this up. I think we're good. Thank you all so very much. Hope to see you down the road, and travel safely. All righty. Bye-bye.
Yeah. See everybody. Bye.